Artificial entertainment. Artificial entertainment. Not a lot of words rhyme with entertainment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Artificial Entertainment, a podcast where we pick a theme and we give each other some bad movies based on that theme. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Lakaitis. With me are my friends, Mason Betterly, who's currently humming.
Hey. Hi.
And my other co-host, Tyler Yaney.
Hello.
Good. That was a bit more enthusiastic. I like it. We're getting there.
Talking to me?
Yes, you don't sound like you resent talking into a microphone right now, which is good.
I mean, I do, but that's why I'm acting.
So, how have your weeks been, guys? Movie-wise, entertainment-wise?
Pretty great.
Not great.
I mean, all things considered.
Okay, so that's two entirely conflicting things. Mason's been pretty great. Tyler, eh. I think I can guess why Tyler's was eh. But, Mason, why has yours been great?
Oh, well, I think I should really get into... I'm going to hold off.
Okay.
I'm going to hold off.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
On why it was so great. But, you know, I mean, we've been over the past few weeks, we've got a lot going on. You know, Halloween's now behind us. So we watched a couple things. Probably the best Halloween-related... I know this is, you know, a little passe now, but... probably the best piece of entertainment I watched this holiday season was I watched Hocus Pocus for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And then I actually really enjoyed it for the first time. And I actually went, when I was down in Disney, I went to the Not So Scary Halloween party, and they have a Hocus Pocus themed show, and that was the first time I saw that as well, and I enjoyed it so much more. Since I had watched the movie beforehand, because I understood all the references, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty great.
It'd be like going to see the Beauty and the Beast play before seeing the animated Beauty and the Beast. Like, I don't get what people think this is all about. Like, I'm not great. Like, they're really not great costumes. The candlesticks are as big as humans. I don't get it.
I don't. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. And yeah, I enjoyed the movie.
Cool. I know Tyler's not a fan of it. I've never seen it.
No. It's weird.
It is. No,
it's
absolutely.
Like, here's a family-friendly Disney movie, but we're going to talk about this kid not being able to get his rocks off.
Oh, boy.
Something's wrong with that to me.
Yeah, no, it's a weird movie, but it's a nice little underrated, well, not underrated much anymore, because now it's got like a cult following. But for a while, it was sort of a hidden gem, but now it's kind of coming around. So
gotcha. So
diamond in the rough.
Yeah. So Tyler, I feel like the reason you didn't have a good movie week will lead into the news. So what's been up with you?
I don't know, man. It's rough. Everybody's in bed with everybody else. I tried to watch some movies, including the one we're going to talk to today, and the one you gave me just put me in a foul mood that lasted for a good couple of hours.
Oh no.
And then I decided I would come home, and I was watch one of Joe Dante's first movie, The Howling, and I didn't really care for it, and that's kind of a bummer. And then today I saw Ragnarok, and I liked it okay, but it wasn't like blown away with it like everyone else is, and that was kind of a bummer. So it's just kind of a bummer week.
Yeah, I get you. But going back to Halloween movies, you got to see American Werewolf in London in theaters.
Yeah, and I was bummed you didn't like it.
No, I went in because I'm a huge Blues Brothers fan. I love that movie, so I went in expecting to love this, and there are certainly great parts. Like, I enjoyed everything leading up to the hospital, and pretty much most of the film once the character discovers he's a werewolf. Like, the ending...
So you didn't like the zombie Nazis in the middle?
Oh, no, the zombie... Like, the hospital stuff was really boring. But whenever the zombie best friend showed up...
That was in the hospital.
What?
That was in the hospital.
Yeah, but everything else, it took him so long to get discharged, and it was so uninteresting.
Have you ever been to a hospital? It's like that, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, have you ever seen the real mob? The way the mob's in the movies and the way the mob is in real life is entirely different. You can do the same thing with hospitals.
I don't know. I've never met the mob. I swear I dated a girl whose family was in it, but I can't prove nothing.
One of my favorite pizza shops was owned by kids whose grandparents were in the mob, so I got a little taste of that.
I have a funny Easter story one of these days, like my Easter at the Godfather's house, but we'll get to that another time.
We'll wait till the Easter.
Didn't you think my dad was in the mob or something?
Well, your dad looks kind of like he wears open collared shirts with a lot of gold chains.
No, he doesn't.
Oh.
So yeah,
it was one time, and it wasn't even multiple chains. It was just one, like.
But the way our imaginations work, we just added.
The fact
well,
that
that's
was
true.
at least one chain, you know.
Yeah. So let's get into the news. Not a lot of great news. Like, it turns out Kevin Spacey's a terrible person. So not only has he been dropped from House of Cards, but the new Ridley Scott movie he's in, the studio is going to campaign hard for him to get a Best Supporting Actor, and now that's just completely out the window, they said.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was an Alien Covenant.
So yeah, I don't want to hang too long on Kevin Spacey being a terrible person. I enjoyed Baby Driver. I hopefully will be able to enjoy it. Besides knowing this,
more like Baby Rider.
Oh my!
Stop it! No, can we cut that?
How long have you been waiting? No, I'm going to leave that one in because that's pretty
not appropriate.
Good. Yeah, well, turns out he's a terrible person. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't know he was in the new Ridley Scott movie, but Ridley Scott has just come out and said it turns out the alien has been played out.
He said that?
Yep.
Are they not doing the third one?
I don't know. Because at one point, before Covenant came out, he said, "Oh, I got so many ideas. We could do a new movie for the next 6 years."
He said he wanted to do he wanted to do like 6 of them. And I'm like, no, but I want at least one more prequel to wrap everything up. Because the way Covenant ends, I'm like, okay, that wasn't great, but I kind of want to see where this goes.
Well, here's the thing. His idea for the next Alien Prometheus film is David goes to a new planet and basically just starts playing God more and more, making these new creatures. And then
that sounds great to me. I'd watch that.
And then the engineers, the big, puffy, white-looking dudes from the first movie, come back and want revenge for wiping out a planet of...
Again, have you seen these, or did somebody ruin all that for you?
I've never seen any of them. I don't know if they really ruined them, because they haven't been that good.
That's fair.
My experience in Prometheus
I will
wasn't
go to
that
bat
great.
for them because I think the mythology and the filmmaking is so interesting to me that the more clumsy aspects I can kind of overlook. I see why people hate them, but I've kind of enjoyed them as kind of a B movie kind of thing. Like, people are like, oh, it ruins the mythology of the alien, and I'm like, it's just a monster.
Yeah.
You know, you can still watch the original Alien and enjoy it.
Right. Like, I just watched Alien for the first time recently. I watched it again on Halloween.
So great.
Yeah, and knowing what I know about Prometheus doesn't ruin it. Really?
No, not at all.
What I love is I found out recently Blade Runner and Alien are a shared universe.
Yep. Yeah, replicants and the synthetics could be argued.
Well, it's even like, because I just saw Blade Runner 2049 sometime in the past 2 weeks. I loved it. But we continuously see that the replicants are causing a problem for humanity. So it would make sense to, like, all right, let's stop making these human things and let's just go to robots that look like us.
My theory is that David's kind of the last of those kinds of replicants, and you can see in Covenant, Walter is like a different model of David, and it's more compliant and more robotic. And so that leads into Ash and Bishop and all those, and it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But
interesting.
I love that idea, because they're both, Ridley Scott made the first ones out of these franchises.
Yeah, well, he did.
Ironically, the second one's better in both, but...
no. I like Alien more than Aliens, and I like Blade Runner way more than 2049. And I know I'm in the minority, but I just think it's more interesting.
I haven't seen Aliens yet, so I can't really say that it's better.
Why are you talking like that?
Because everyone talks that Aliens is better than Alien.
Okay, Aliens is a schlocky action movie, and I love it. But Alien has more craft to it.
No, that's probably true.
In terms of building suspense, that I've learned to appreciate it more, and that's the one I go to when I say that I love the Alien franchise.
Plus, I love Jones, and he's in the first one.
You like the cat?
Yes.
The cat's in the second one.
I haven't seen the second one.
You act like you have.
I'm confident enough.
Fair enough.
They have what? I can talk enough about aliens. Like, they have a Scottish lady playing a Mexican lady, and now everyone thinks that lady's actually Mexican.
I didn't know she was Scottish. I knew she wasn't Mexican.
I'm pretty sure it's Scottish. It's something that's like the exact opposite.
It's white.
Yeah, it's like really white, where you wouldn't believe that it's believable. Anyway, so the next piece of news is, according to Disney, Ron Howard has reshot up to 80% of the Han Solo Han Solo film, if not almost all of it.
Would you say Ron Howard has gone at it solo?
No, because I'm sure the Disney execs would not let him go solo.
Exactly. Oh, what a mess. What a mess.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this. I think what this has shown me is I like Ron Howard as a person.
Oh,
like
totally.
He just seems like Hollywood's ultimate nice guy.
Yeah, he's like Brett Ratner if he wasn't scum.
What?
Because Ron Howard's like a work-for-hire director, like Brett Ratner. Like the studio's like, do this, and Ron Howard's like, okay, but he's not like a scumbag like Brett Ratner.
So, okay, let's go to a light note. Something I'm actually excited for.
Okay.
They cast Zachary Levi as Captain Marvel in the Shazam.
Yeah.
All right, can someone...
And they're talking about casting Mark Strong as Dr. Sivana, I think is how that's pronounced.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love Mark Strong too.
Can someone explain the concept of Shazam to me with a straight face, please, for our viewers?
Yeah. And it's Captain
Okay,
Marvel, please. Shazam is just the thing he says when Billy Batson turns into Captain Marvel.
So it's correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know much about DC, but I've seen enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of kids come together and then they turn into an old man who's a superhero.
No, that's a different interpretation of the character.
That's
traditionally,
weird.
and what? Yeah, no, that's a little weird. Traditionally, Billy Batson is a 10-year-old who gets the power of is the god Shazam, or I forget how.
No. Shazam is basically
I thought Kazam was a genie who rapped.
No, Shazam is basically a like each letter stands for someone else. But I think the Z is Zeus. Yeah, it's like all the powers of the gods in one being, basically.
Okay, so
Where's
essentially,
Ra? Shouldn't it be
what?
Shazamra? I don't know where you'd put the R in there.
There is no R.
There's no Ra. No, it's Greek gods, not
Egyptian.
Not,
my bad.
Yeah, not Egyptian. So
basically, the simple
anagram.
premise is it's a 10-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
When he shouts Shazam, he turns into Superman, essentially.
That's stupid.
But he's still got the mind of a 10-year-old boy with like this infinite wisdom of Solomon or something like that.
From the Bible?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no.
What?
Something like that.
What?
You got a bunch of things going on there. It's pretty cool. It's high concept, but it's cool.
High concept, I guess, is one way to put it. All right.
I really like this casting of Zachary Levi because you really needed someone that could be a kid in an adult body, and I think Flynn Rider, Chuck could do it. When they said The Rock was going to be in these kind of films, I thought he'd be perfect to play Captain Marvel because
that's what they're doing in Jumanji. Because isn't he a kid in that?
Exactly. Yeah. I think he could have done that, and I don't know why they're doing a Black Adam movie and a Shazam, a Captain Marvel movie. That's
Wait, they're separate projects now?
From my understanding, yeah, it's like doing a Batman movie and then also doing a Penguin origin movie. Those two work together. You can't. It's hard to do a villain movie without the hero. That's why the Venom movie isn't going to be.
But
good.
they're doing a Joker movie.
That's not necessarily true, but okay.
It's Sony, and Marvel's not really there to help them on that, so I think it is.
Remember how great Catwoman was?
Oh, so classic.
Do you remember how good Deadpool was?
He's not a villain.
Deadpool's his own character, though.
True. He can't
okay,
but
Black Adam is not its own character. He is a villain to
I'm not
Captain
defending.
Marvel.
I'm not defending Black Adam. I will not defend Black Adam.
You're defending a Penguin solo film that I just.
I'm defending
where
Venom.
are you getting at?
I like the idea of a Venom movie. So anyway, moving on though.
I have no strong feelings one way or another. It's Sony, so we'll see.
Gotcha. So the last.
No.
last
You're
piece
fair. You're fair in saying that, but.
The last piece of news is Ahmed Best feels that he is being forgotten in the history of motion capture CGI characters.
They didn't motion capture him, did
they? Yeah, because he's there on set the whole time.
He's on set, but it's not motion capture.
Wait, he's just, it's not exactly motion capture, but he's saying in the history of things, Jar Jar played such a huge part of it, and that he's not talked about, he's not ignored. I mean, he is being ignored, he feels. The one thing I want to touch on this is a lot of the news is portraying it as like he's angry at Andy Serkis for taking all the credit, but from everything I've read, he's very respectful to Andy Serkis. He's like, this man has done so much for it. Absolutely. I just feel like I don't get any credit for doing it so early on. And I think it's just because it's not a good character.
Let me say this. It's a good effect.
Yeah.
For the most part, like out of all the CGI characters, I mean, I can kind of buy that he's there.
The headache he gives me proves to me that I think he's actually there.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe everyone else is such a wooden actor that they all feel like cartoons after a while.
That could be very true. But yeah, that's the news. Not a lot of great news this week.
Was there
nothing we can really joke about?
Sorry.
In good conscience.
In good taste.
I don't have either of those things.
So let's get to the movies that we picked this week. Our theme, I believe, is animals. That's what set us off.
Yeah, we had an animal theme.
Really, we just needed a theme so we could give Mason.
It was a very broad theme, and I think
Can I just say I'm done with Scooby-Doo?
Sure, well, it's my turn. We'll see what I give you at the end of the episode, but we'll find out.
Mason,
you are who you choose to be, Joshua.
Oh no. Mason, I just want to say he made me do it.
Okay.
I'm right now.
There was a lot of texting and phone calls to coordinate.
Well, you thought it was like the funniest idea ever to give one of the Scooby-Doo movies. I'm like,
did you hear his reaction last week or last episode?
That was great.
It was so worth it. So this week, the theme is animals. Mm-hmm. I gave Tyler Oh Heavenly Dog. Tyler gave Mason Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins. Mason, what did you give me at the end of last episode?
At the end of last episode, not knowing where my film was going, I gave you Racing Stripes, but I retroactively, I gave you Norm of the North.
About a couple days later, after Mason had stewed on having to watch another Scooby-Doo movie, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give him a worse film. Norm of the North. That's a terrible animal film. Yeah. And if it's all the same to you guys, I'd like to start.
Okay.
Sure.
So, Norm of the North is probably the worst animated film I've ever seen.
What was the worst
before?
What was the worst before?
Good.
Probably Cars 2.
Oh, that's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but...
I'm trying to think. I don't think like the old Star Wars cartoons or movies that I can count. I'm trying to look at my movie wall.
Did you see the Clone Wars movie?
Oh, yeah, that was boring. Yeah. But at least it was competent. Like, this is not competently done at all.
That's fair.
Yep.
Wait, hold up. Clone Wars, the movie, was competent in your eyes?
Compared to Norm of the North?
Oh, I thought it looked bad. But I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to compare it to Norm of the North.
So what is Norm of the North about, Josh?
Rob Schneider plays a polar bear.
Rob Schneider.
And the film opens with him trying to hunt a seal. And we learned fairly early on that Norm is not a good hunter, that he's very insecure, that he can't hunt well. And this comes into play at no point in the rest of the film.
Okay.
You think this is going to be Norm coming to terms that he's not a good hunter, that he's a good bear in other aspects. But the hunting thing is... I'm so disappointed Christopher Walken doesn't have anything in this. Like, if he could have just played... Instead of get Ken Jeong, get Christopher Walken. It would have been so much better.
This is not over. Bears.
I mean...
Hello, I'm a little seal. Oh, no, it's a polar bear.
Please,
they got Bill Nye to play a seagull that looks like Phil Silvers. Clearly, they had the money to get some actors.
Did you say Bill Nye?
Yeah. The British Bill Nye?
Yeah,
or
not Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nighy, as some say.
Okay. I was like, why is Bill Nye the Science Guy and Norman? All right, that makes more sense.
No, as a kid, my mind was blown that Bill Nye the Science Guy is Davy Jones?
Oh, no.
I would watch that. I would watch that.
Do you fear science, Jack Sparrow?
Tonight, we're learning about cephalopods.
So, yeah, we find out that Norm has a magical gift that he's inherited from his grandfather where he can communicate with humans.
Oh, really?
What?
It's incredible. He is trying to save the North. He doesn't like when humans come to see the polar bears and the seals. And his cousin or brother, it's like his best friend, is like, no, we gotta entertain them. So they put on like these big shows what are the little hamsters? Lemmings or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
they're
lemmings.
the minions of this movie. They'll do dance numbers. The orca whale the killer whale will do tricks. He'll eat a seal. I'm surprised how many live animals are just eaten by other characters in this movie. Like, it's brutal for a children's film.
At least it's cruel. You got that going for you.
The whole movie just feels cruel to me as a person.
I think you're taking this too personally, bub.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, all the characters, all the animals have the same motivation. They want to save the North and protect it. But Norm is very against everyone else's plan to, like, entertain the humans. Because all the other animals think, well, if we make them like the North, they won't pollute it. But I guess that's just encouraging... I don't know if people even want to move there, but there's this evil land developer, played by Ken Jeong from Community, who wants to start building...
Did you say Kim Jong-il?
No, Ken Jeong.
No.
Oh, Mr. Chow. Okay.
From Community. Yeah, Mr. Chow. So, he wants to build apartments or condos. He wants to build condos in the North. So Norm feels it's his duty. Because he thinks, I don't know.
Wait, this takes place in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to go there ever, much less live there or vacation there?
Right? Well, like, the thing is, in the film, it presents like it's a common occurrence for people to take cruises up to the Arctic to get out and take pictures
Alaska.
with polar bear. Like, I don't think that happens. They did the same thing in Happy Feet, where it's just
no, they didn't. Did they?
Yeah. No, people will just actively go to the North to take pictures of. Well, wait. I guess Happy Feet would have been in the South Pole.
Yeah, that was Antarctica.
That was the other side.
Either way, I don't really think people are actively vacationing to the most northern and southern points on our planet.
To be fair,
just
we
to take
don't
pictures
know
of
that.
animals.
We don't know, but probably.
Probably not.
I feel safe in assuming this doesn't happen.
All right, please, come on. If you're out there, tweet at us if you've ever vacationed to the Arctic. Hit that
Tyler,
like
only
button.
about 6 people are listening. I doubt
Smash
out of
that
those 6.
subscribe button.
Oh, boy. Anyway.
I'm being a podcaster.
No, you sound like a YouTuber.
What's the difference?
Podcasters
Cast pods.
don't show their faces often.
Oh, we're ashamed of ourselves. Okay, if you know the difference between a YouTuber and a podcaster, please tweet at us at artificial pot.
Pod, yeah. Artificial pod.
Is it pot or pod?
What do you think?
P-O-D.
Do we run a podcast or a podcast?
If we ever are live from Colorado, we will have the first podcast.
I doubt that sincerely.
I am certain that there are already plenty of podcasts about weed and weed culture.
If you have a podcast about weed and weed culture, please tweet at us at artificialpod. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe.
Okay,
we're getting off. No, please. Let's not talk about Norm of the North. Let's talk about anything else.
Let's talk about podcasts relating to cannabis.
All right,
Fine.
Mason would call it cannabis. I had a jolly joint the other day. I had me a wee bit of cannabis.
All right, so Norm hops a ride to New York City because that's where everything's going on. And
in every movie.
He gets the idea that he'll be in commercials for the land developer so he can get really famous and popular and then tell them, don't move to the North.
What?
Oh, yeah.
That's. Oh.
I didn't write down any names of the actors or characters this time.
I don't care. I think Heller Graham was in it, but nobody remembers
Well,
Heller
no,
Graham.
like, okay, so there's a nice lady that works for the evil land developer, and she's got a daughter. So Norm
of the North
gets picked up by her to be in the commercials. They all think he's a dude in a costume, even though he's a bear. But then Ken Jeong realizes, oh no, he's really a bear. So when Norm's at a restaurant with the nice lady, Ken Jeong just comes bursting into nowhere with a tranquilizer gun.
What?
And everyone thinks he's there to shoot up the restaurant.
That sounds great. You didn't like this
children's movie?
Yes. And like they all duck under the tables and pull out their phones to film it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
So Norm gets the gun away from Ken Jeong.
How?
And I don't. He's eating pufferfish, and somehow I think he uses that. No, it's not even that. He just like tackles the guy, takes the gun, throws it to the sushi chef.
Okay.
I'm only half paying attention while watching this. It was terrible.
Is this the short version of this movie? How long was this movie?
It is not immediately on the IMDb. It's an hour and a half.
That sounds about right. All right.
Proceed.
So everyone gets
I'm already exhausted.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. And okay, so I watched this while I was drawing the new banner for the Facebook and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Go check it out on
But at
Facebook.
the same time,
Smash
not at the same time, but right beforehand, I actually watched Mason's movie because I just didn't want to watch Norm of the North.
Wait, you both watched Scooby-Doo: The
my
Mystery
God.
Begins?
I watched some crappy version that someone uploaded on YouTube.
Why did no one tell me?
It was so much better than Norm of the North.
Yeah, it's probably better than my movie too, if we're being honest.
We'll get on to that. We'll get on to mine.
Okay. So anyway, everyone records Norm defusing and taking the gun away from Kim Jong.
I thought you said
Ken Jeong
defusing a bomb from Kim Jong-il.
No. But here's the thing: everyone loves Norm,
Life
but no
imitates
one
art.
blames Ken Jeong for what happened. Like, the company is still successful. There is no consequence for him about to shoot up a restaurant.
Did they think it was a PR stunt?
No. It's just how he gets thrust into the limelight. And then there's oh, Norm, you're perfect. And then they all do a dance number to something.
What?
The music in this movie, it just sounds like instead of a composer, they hired a wedding DJ, and he just played all the popular songs from the time. The time being 2016.
I mean, wouldn't that be more expensive? What popular tunes do they play in this film?
Really generic wedding songs. I can't even... I don't even remember. I'm surprised Happy wasn't in there, but it's like that kind of song.
I believe that was in another animated feature.
Mm-hmm. That did much better.
On the
and it was probably better made.
On Norm of the North's IMDb, for its connections, it says it's featured in Half in the Bag, The Revenant, 2016. The nice lady has a daughter who
Is she a nice lady?
who doesn't want Ken Jeong to succeed and build houses in the North because it'll ruin the North. So the girl and Norm decide to team up to defeat, to ruin Ken Jeong's plan. But also, the daughter doesn't seem to realize that her mother will then lose her high-paying job.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Realting. Her high-end realting job.
Do realtors make a lot?
I feel like if you're selling apartments and stuff in New York,
hey, if you're a realtor
money.
listening out there in TV land, please tweet at us.
Oh,
yes,
Tell me your salary.
Realtors can make some nice money.
Anyway, so they team up. Basically, we find out that Ken Jeong is so paranoid about Norm being a real polar bear is because there's no connection to this, but he has somehow kidnapped Norm's grandfather years ago and has kept him locked in his basement of the skyscraper. He has Norm's grandfather kidnapped years before this movie takes place.
Is there a prequel out there?
I hope not. So somehow Norm discovers that he has Grandpa there. I think Norm just smells him and thinks, there's another polar bear here. It's my missing grandfather who can also talk to humans. And then it becomes like a rescue mission to save Grandpa and also a suicide mission to make sure the initial apartments don't get to the north, so that the contracting deal with this other guy falls through, and they don't have to pay for any of the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad. I haven't even mentioned that the lemmings are the worst thing ever created.
Oh wow!
And put to celluloid?
Well, it's not. Thankfully, it's just digital, so we didn't have to waste film on this. But yeah, like one of the things I believe a lot of people that have reviewed this film have commented on is that there's just like a 2-minute scene of the lemmings peeing in a fish tank in a waiting room.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's so pointless, and it's like 2 minutes of reaction shots of everyone like, oh my gosh, they're urinating. How inappropriate. How childish.
Most unorthodox.
Most unorthodox.
So basically, yeah, somehow Norm is able to convince everyone that this is a bad idea, but the apartment's are already being shipped to the north, so him and Grandpa have to flip the ship over, and it's like almost a suicide mission. Like, at no point it seems like they plan on making it out of flipping the boat, because it's in the middle of the storm on the ocean. Like, they have to detach the big thing with the 4 apartments on it that's connected to this little tugboat, it seems, and everyone sinks. Somehow Norm falls to the bottom of the ocean with some piece of heavy metal on him, so he sinks all the way down, passes out, has some sort of weird flashback or dream, I don't know.
There's an orb in the
and
bottom
wakes
of the
up,
sea.
not drowned,
There's an orb
and is
in the
able to
bottom of the
swim
sea.
to the surface. Oy.
Go on.
And he makes it to the north, and he's not dead. And there's also a female polar bear that had like 3 lines that he's like, oh, they have a family now. And then Norm's being crowned king of the north, but Grandpa's still missing, but no one seems to care. But then Grandpa enters in the last minute, and Norm's like, you're alive? I thought you were dead. We didn't even look for you.
There's an orb. There's an orb. There's an orb in the bottom of the sea.
So,
I don't want to explain this film better because it doesn't deserve the time.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was poorly animated. I feel like someone cared. Someone on this project cared, and I think it was the person that designed the humans, because they went for this weird, grotesque, stylized Invader Zim meets Ren and Stimpy kind of thing. Like, none of the humans look good, but the design's interesting.
Huh.
They're trying to animate this film in a very Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs kind of style. You know, it's all rubber noodles for arms and legs. Nothing has bones in the movie, but the character designs are too rigid looking and grotesque, where they don't match up, and it just looks weird. The film honestly looks like a fever dream.
A beaver dream.
That's the best way I can describe it. A fever dream.
A fever dream, right.
It was terrible. It's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Ever?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Wow.
I'm glad I could give that to you.
I guess, no, I've seen some Kirk Cameron movies that are worse.
If you're Kirk Cameron and listening to this podcast, please tweet at us.
Yeah, no, Saving Christmas and one of his stupid documentary films. Those films made me angry. Norman the North didn't make me angry. Yeah, Unstoppable. Okay. I hated that. That was the first movie I ever left angry. Norman the North didn't make me angry. It just made me sad. All right, which one of you two want to go next?
All right. Just to mix things up, I'll go.
All right, so I gave Tyler Oh Heavenly Dog, which is a movie I've been curious about. Because at one point, I thought I was a Chevy Chase fan, but then I realized I just like Fletch, and that's about it.
Which brings me to our next film.
Oh Heavenly Dog, starring Chevy Chase and everyone's favorite dog, Benji.
Before I start this review out proper, I just would like to highlight a few of the things in this family-friendly Benji movie. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Murder, perversion, lightsabers, naughty words, and reincarnation.
All right, none of that really surprises me from what I've seen of this film, but except for lightsabers.
I'll just ruin that gag real quick, because that was the only time I was bored this whole thing, but when I heard the lightsaber, like, legit sound effect, I was like, what? What?
What was it used for?
Oh, as a pointer in heaven. He's pointing to something in heaven, and it goes, oh, he's like, oh yeah, we had those before Star Wars. And I'm like,
oh dear.
Stupid movie. And it's a Fox film, so that's why that was there.
That makes
Not
sense.
that matters now. But they didn't know that. This was so boring. A film about Chevy Chase getting murdered and then turned into a dog should not be boring. It could be a lot of things, but it should not be boring. Also, I
just realized this isn't the last time Chevy Chase has played a dog either.
When did he play a dog?
He's the karate dog.
I forgot about that.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
If you're the director of Karate Dog, please tweet at us.
Oh my god. All right, so what's Oh Heavenly Dog about? How does Chevy Chase solve his murder by being reincarnated as Benji?
It takes place in London, and everything looks as gloomy and dreary as possible. And I thought that was a tone
foggy
thing.
day.
But no, that's just how
London
that's
town.
just how Britain looks. If we're being honest.
Yep.
So.
Totally.
But it doesn't help the tone at all. So. I'm just gonna give you the short version for this because there's a lot to dissect here. So Chevy Chase is a private detective living in merry old England for some reason. All right. He
of course.
He is sick. Oh, real quick, they play. I don't know if it was a Paul McCartney song or an Elton John song, but it was like the theme song for the movie, and they play it 3 times in a row with a little bit of spacing in between. And
what?
Yeah, and what's funny about that is I watched this on YouTube, and they had to in order to do this so they wouldn't get pulled out, they had to put the audio going all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up.
Oh boy.
Which, if it was just for one part, that'd be fine. But it's like a good 10 minutes of the movie that they play this stupid song. And I didn't bother to look up what the song actually was, so I was only getting bits and pieces from the illegal copy I watched on YouTube. But anyways, so Chevy Chase is a private detective in merry old England. This old British man asked him to kind of keep an eye on this lady. So he goes to her apartment and gets stabbed because he's been set up to look like he was her lover or something.
Double cross.
Yeah, something like that. It makes it look so. Chevy Chase goes to heaven. Which is something I never thought I would say.
Which is very hard to believe.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're kind of losing me, movie.
I can suspend my disbelief, but...
Also, real quick, this came out 2 months before Caddyshack, so I don't know why he's in this thing.
How weird. I felt like this would have been a movie like he would do later in his career.
Way later, like late 80s, but this was like when he was still big. And I mean... it definitely feels like he's just getting through this movie, and we'll get into that more, but that still took me by surprise. Like, maybe he lost a bet or something. I don't know. So anyways, Chevy Chase gets stabbed and goes to heaven, and the snobby British man with the lightsaber tells him that in order to actually stay in heaven, he has to go back to Earth and solve his own murder for some reason. Okay? But he can't come back as himself because he has a hole in his back. So he sends him back as Benji the dog, who's about to be... Also, this is the 3rd Benji movie, and I don't know if it takes place in that chronology, but it totally could. Hear me out.
Really?
Yeah, because the first 2 Benji movies, let's just say those happened. I've never seen them, but they just happened. Benji, and there's another Benji one.
I thought for a second you were about to come at this like, I have committed to memory the entire storyline of all the Benji movies. No.
It's just Benji gets in adventures and whatever in 2 movies, whatever. So you could say that that same Benji about gets hit by a car before Chevy Chase is put into him. And then he stays... I'll get into the ending, but I'll just ruin it now. He stays as Benji the dog at the end of the movie. And then there's another Benji... Then there's another Benji movie after that. So you could technically say that this is chronological order... And Benji is just possessed by the spirit of Chevy Chase, and you just can't hear him.
I'm never going to go and watch the other Benji movies, but I will just put in my head that from every Benji movie after, it's Chevy Chase.
It works. It totally works.
So wait. Benji is hit by a car at the beginning of the film, so that's why
Benji is almost hit by a car. They have to put him in a body that's almost going to die so he can take over.
Why?
What?
I don't know why that's the rule, but that's the rule. So
Benji was stupid enough to get almost hit by a car. He doesn't deserve his body anymore.
Benji the dog, beloved child icon, was about to be hit by a car before Chevy Chase was put inside of him.
Okay, sure. So, keep going.
So we'll take it from there. All right. So somehow Benji the character's name is Benjamin before he's put in the dog.
Of course.
So I guess he becomes... Maybe it's his origin story. I don't know. I will not even bother trying to comprehend this plot because I was so bored. But basically, he teams up with Jane Seymour to solve this murder, and a whole bunch of things happened. I do like Jane Seymour.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Skip to
because,
the hour,
the dog,
3 minute,
like
50
Biscuit's
second
first line before he gets hit by a car is "oh," which
well,
you will bleep out. But the fact Benji swears a lot in this movie.
So wait. Benji before Chevy Chase is put in him, or after?
No. Well, let's just hypothetically say once Chevy Chase is in, the first line you ever hear Benji the dog, beloved child icon from G-rated pictures up to this point, ever speaks is "oh."
Wait, one, that's terrible and hysterical all at the same time. But isn't Benji a beloved dog icon because he's not a child?
Well, true. No, but he's like kids love him. Like the first two movies were G-rated family films.
Right. I didn't know if he qualified as a dog icon or a child icon.
Children's icon. Mason, I'm saying that right?
I would imagine yes.
Okay, it's not an important point. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so.
And Chevy Chase is just is gone from that point in the movie. He's just voicing Benji the dog.
He never comes back at all?
He comes back twice for 2 minutes, and I'll explain why in a minute.
Okay.
But for the most part, he's just kind of in a recording booth, recording lines to go over Benji the dog, and he swears a lot. Not the F-bomb, but everything else, surprisingly.
Oh.
He also puts his face in Jane Seymour's boobs, jumps in a bathtub with Jane Seymour twice, and makes several weird comments toward her.
What year was this again?
1980.
Oh, that explains it. Bestiality was huge in the 1980s.
Apparently.
I wasn't talking about that.
It's really uncomfortable.
No, I bet.
Okay, so basically, the two other times he's Chevy Chase in the movie is when Higgins, the guy who put him in Benji's body from heaven, comes down to talk to him. He becomes Chevy Chase again. And that only happens twice after that. Which is all right, what's the point of that?
Well, you gotta get that Chevy Chase FaceTime. FaceTime with Chevy Chase is money.
Yes. I would say he's probably in this hour and 40-minute movie 20 minutes altogether.
So I think he got by okay then.
I think he's fine.
So
but it's a very adult movie. Mm-hmm. Basically, he solves his murder. But the twist is he's running out of time for whatever reason. And so, in order to sacrifice...
That car's coming back to finish the job!
Pretty much. No, he can't return to heaven. So, if he doesn't in X amount of time, he'll stay Benji the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because he cares about Jane Seymour and wants to save her from whatever, and also wants to solve his murder, he stays as Benji the dog. So, I'm sorry I'm not being very specific on the plot. I just stopped caring after a certain point.
No, I understand. I didn't do it with Norm.
Yeah, so... Basically, Jane Seymour dies. She takes a bullet for Benji the dog.
Who's gonna shoot the dog?
No, the villain pulls a gun on Benji for some reason, and she's like, no! And pushes herself in front of Benji the dog and gets shot for this mangy much just met. And I'm like, I would have let them shoot the dog and run away. And I love dogs, but good lord, lady.
I would have been upset, but give it 2 months, I would have gone and got another.
Anyway, so let me tell you, I don't care about the plot, but let me tell you the final scene of the movie.
Okay.
Benji / Chevy Chase is stuck on this earth, forever roaming as Benji the dog until Benji's natural death.
Mm-hmm.
And he's lonely, so he about jumps to commit suicide off this bridge when Jane Seymour comes back as a cat.
Oh my. What?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why would... That's just cruel. Why wouldn't you send her back as another dog?
That's what I'm saying, because I'm sure they're going to bump uglies. I hope they're not, but they talk like they are, and I'm like, at least make them the same species.
That's the after credits scene. Chevy Chase finally discovers that Benji is fixed.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's Oh Heavenly Dog. I hated it, and it was very boring, and that's probably the worst movie I've watched on the show so far, because, like, Dougal was probably a worse movie, but, like, there's things I can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
This, I was just bored the whole time. Like, the cinematography
That does
is very
sound
boring.
miserable.
Yeah, it was a miserable movie. And watching it on YouTube and the way I did not help that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I the thing I want to do with this is when I give you guys bad movies, they're bad movies I'm potentially interested in watching.
Uh-huh.
I have no interest now after hearing that.
Do not waste your time. I've told you everything
Gotcha.
interesting about this movie, and you got a good laugh out of it. Now you can move on with your life.
I agree. All right, Mason. So, we all know that you have this weird love of Scooby-Doo.
No, I don't.
Mo.
I don't have a weird love.
And you asked that you watch the prequel.
Again, that's false, but okay.
So, we know you've been looking forward to it, so please get into
Again, that is also not correct.
Scooby-Doo. The mystery begins.
Okay, so and this kind of goes into, what I've been enjoying about that I've been watching lately. So I got to watch this fantastic piece of entertainment about a group of kids coming together, and they're odd, and there's an odd dog kind of thing involved, and they solve this mystery because there's weird things going on, and it's the actors playing the kids are just so great, and there's a great story, and I really enjoyed every second of it. So I really enjoyed watching Stranger Things season 2. I also had to watch this piece of crap.
I don't know. I thought for sure you'd go with the Breakfast Club comparison, but then you went with the weird dog, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. But I was saving that one up for a week, so it got a little lost in translation. But anyway, yeah, so Scooby-Doo, Mystery Begins is a thing. It's a thing. Mm-hmm. I will say, to start off, I feel like I knew what I was. I've learned my enemy here. I know my enemy in Scooby-Doo Pieces of Entertainment. Live action Scooby-Doo Pieces of Entertainment, at least. Mm-hmm. And I knew what I was getting into here, and I think that's what made it more bearable. So it is a prequel to the Scooby-Doo films, I'm guessing, even though it conflicts with some things in Scooby-Doo 2.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it does conflict.
For one, Velma's Asian in this.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up later on, but yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I think she's a really good Velma, actually.
No, actually, I think she's horrible. I think she was probably the worst. They're all bad. They're all pretty bad.
Oh, Shaggy's terrible in this.
But her acting was like Disney Channel sitcom bad.
But the one laugh I had out of that movie was from her.
Which was that?
It's in the first scene where Shaggy gets on the bus and he's trying to find a place to sit, and he sits next to Velma, and she tries to start explaining. She starts explaining her science experiment. He gets up. There's the whole rest of the scene plays out. Then Daphne gets up and comes to sit next to Velma, and Velma's still talking like she was talking to Shaggy, not realizing he left. She looks, sees Daphne, goes, "Oh, I was just explaining my science."
Then she starts it all over again. Yeah,
I thought that was fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown of what it is. It's them in high school, their first mystery. What I don't get is the plot in all of this. If it is supposed to be a prequel to the other Scooby-Doo movies, is the big shocker for them in the first Scooby-Doo movie was that, oh my gosh, these monsters are real. But there are 3 antagonists in this film, and 2 of them are legitimate real ghosts.
Right.
So I'm like, well, that kind of throws that off. And bottom line, I mean, there's always like a twist ending with who the bad guy is in all of these. Like, it sort of turned the entire this whole thing you two have been making me do for the past few weeks has really completely turned the Scooby-Doo formula on its head. It's literally all the same thing.
Yeah.
They all have the same formula.
I mean,
every episode has the same formula. Oh my gosh.
Scooby-Doo has had the same formula since its original Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah, I know. So now that's for 48 years it's had the same thing. So anyways, Shaggy is an outcast. No one likes him. And he stumbles upon Scooby-Doo.
Well, Scooby-Doo stumbles upon him.
Well, yeah.
Scooby just randomly sees the ghosts in the graveyard rise from the dead and then bursts into Shaggy's house.
Who's reviewing this film?
Who is reviewing here?
What is this, a crossover
I'm sorry.
review?
Anyway,
I had
yeah,
such a
random
terrible
ghosts.
time with Norm of the North. I now just have Scooby-Doo in my
engaged.
head.
Yeah, no, I get it. The Scooby in this is weird. I can't get a read on him because he doesn't look worse than the other Scooby, but he doesn't look better. So he's like
but he
a
doesn't
chunky,
look the
like
same either.
Yeah, no,
because it's modern technology, but also with a TV budget.
Television budget. That's true.
True, but like even the physical shape of him doesn't even look the same. Like he's been on steroids. It's not even a young version of Scoob. It's like he's like all muscly and big, and I'm like, what the heck? And his voice is a lot lower too. Like I don't know what the heck.
Well, here's the thing, and I wanted to ask you this. Because you did not like the Scooby-Doo in the 2 original movies.
No, I don't. No, I don't feel like it's authentic.
But in this one, they actually got the original Scooby-Doo voice actor, Frank Welker, to come back and be Scooby. Is this a better Scooby-Doo than the original 2?
I mean, if he was in the thing, sure. If he was in the movie more, if it was actually about him or him and Shaggy, sure. But I feel like he's barely in it. And so yeah, I'm gonna jump around in this thing. At the end, like he's caged up, and the masked villain that's not a ghost is like, "I have your little friend," and all of them rally to save Scoob because Shaggy's like, "Well, he's my dog," and then Freddy's like, "I feel like he's my dog too," and all of them join in. I'm like,
can I just say your Shaggy
none of you
sounds like Jimmy Stewart? He's my dog too, Doc Connor.
He's my dog too. And Harvey's here too. Anyway, so they're all rallying. I'm like, none of you have acknowledged him in the last 20 minutes. Why?
You didn't even notice that he went missing.
Yes, like you idiots. And the writing's pretty terrible. The principal is talking like he's out of the first Scooby-Doo movie where they're all, yo, yo, yo. He's keeps saying how he wants to help Shaggy find some homies.
From the beginning, well, that's our bad guy right there.
Yeah. So, but they could have built it up better. Like, I don't have a problem with him being the bad guy or even the twist. It's just do it good.
Yeah, out of all the films we've had to watch so far, I feel like this movie is the most fixable.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I would say yes. I would say if this was a Hollywood movie, and you got James Gunn now and said, "Here's the script, fix it and make it work," I think this could actually be a good Scooby-Doo movie.
Well, and I said I texted you and said this is the Breakfast Club of Scooby-Doo movies because they all really bond in detention. And
yeah, but like for 15 minutes. Yeah. Well, not even 15 minutes, for like 3 minutes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's an hour-long film. It's an hour long. It's made for TV, so...
If this was made today as a theatrical film, and there is such love for those classic John Hughes movies...
Oh, yeah.
You could have made this and had it been a good quality, at least like Spider-Man Homecoming level of film, I'd say.
Sure.
That's high praise.
I would agree.
I'm really disappointed. I thought actually, this is interesting because they're all kids. None of them are detectives or, mystery kids.
No,
what makes
they're
them interested in mysteries? They just happen to be, they get detention in the library next to the mystery section, so they're all kind of reading mystery books.
That's stupid.
Yep.
It's so dumb, and it throws away such a giant plot element of why they would want to start solving mysteries together.
Yeah. I think Fred. I didn't like Fred at all in this.
You didn't like
there's
Fred
no
on the
piece
other
of.
two.
Yeah, no, there's no piece of entertainment I've seen where the Fred's an actual person.
But he's not even blonde in this.
I was only 20 minutes in. I'm going over my notes here. I was at the 20-minute mark, and it already felt like an hour.
Welcome to my world.
They're in the library reading books, and all of a sudden, the two ghosts that like were randomly there earlier pop out of books and like mess up the pep rally, and they run in, and they're there in the midst of all this because they're being the Scooby Gang is chased there by the ghosts, so they run and they're like then the ghosts come there, unleash havoc, and then the vice principal says, you three or you four were probably responsible
because you weren't
there. I'm like, wait a minute, no, they were. I can verify.
There's no logic in that argument.
Yeah, there was no logic in that.
Well, we got to make this guy look like the villain. So when it turns out it's actually the nice principal that's a villain, it'll be a twist.
The motive for the villain was probably the most solid out of all of them, though, because I think that's like stupid, like Scooby-Doo level stupid, but like still. Oh, I want to bury or unearth the capsule because of stamps, because I'm a stamp collector. That's just stupid, but like there's logic to it.
It's crazy because they pretty much imply that everyone that lived in Coolsville originally was killed in a massive flood.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to mention. Yeah, the original Coolsville was completely submerged in a flood. The town was buried, and they just built the new town on top of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's oddly dark. Yeah, well, yeah. And then at the end, all the ghosts come out, like all of them, and start like just tearing up the city and stuff. I'm like,
really?
Wait, am I watching Ghostbusters from last year again? But yeah, so it was weird. I didn't like that. You guys know me. I'm cool with like if you do ghosts, do them well. And stuff like that, but it didn't make a ton of sense, and it was oddly dark for it would just I don't know, I didn't like that, but it worked in the long run, I guess, but I didn't understand why there's a masked guy controlling two ghosts,
and he learns how to control ghosts through high school library books.
About
bringing the dead to life.
What?
It's such a throwaway line. If you're not paying attention, you completely miss it.
Like, wait a minute. This isn't a children's library? Why? What?
Yeah.
But another thing is, if this is their first thing, A, it should just be masked people. But B, why do we even need a masked person if we've got ghosts going around? Like, you
real
pick
ghosts.
Pick one. It's stupid.
Pick one.
It's stupid. But. Yeah, I know this was all over the place, but the film was kind of all over the place too. Also, Coolsville is in Ohio. They're based out of Ohio. That's weird.
Yep.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, Mr. Ink is based out of Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So, that's a thing. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Middle America.
But yeah, I think out of the three that I have watched, this one's probably the best only because I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I knew what I was getting myself into. I sat myself down at my lunch break and watched it, and it happened. And
they give you an hour and a half for your lunch break?
No, it was only an hour long, so
it's short, it's simple, it's not obnoxious like the first two.
Yeah, it probably goes in reverse then, because I liked the second one more, even though it was pretty bad. But then the first one's just ugh.
Yeah.
Still like Matthew Lillard though, as Shaggy.
The one from the two films.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. The kids are the kids are bad. The kids are all bad.
None of the kids were good in this.
No. It would be a great origin. Like if they actually put money into it and developed it, it could be a great origin movie.
It could be a fun 80s throwback kind of Scooby-Doo film if they did it now. Totally. I think that this film could be done right, but It isn't. On a Scooby-Doo related note, though, did you see they're coming out with a new animated movie where they team up with Batman again?
Really?
Yeah, but it's Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh. Whoa. That style?
Yep. Same voice actors and everything.
Oh, goody.
I mean, it doesn't look that good, but who knows, Mason? Maybe that'll be the 5th Scooby-Doo movie we give you.
Please no. I'm all Scooby-Dooed out.
All right, so
I'm done.
Let's see who won, lost, and got away with it.
I lost.
You lost. I can agree with that. From you sounded much more miserable than I did with North of the North.
Defeated.
Oh yeah,
Mason, I think you won actually.
I think I did win this week.
You
I did win this week. All things considered.
Absolutely. Even if we're just talking about running time, you won.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, and I don't really feel like I got away with it, but I'm okay with coming in that position.
Okay.
So let's talk about palate cleansers, because we've had some terrible movies in our mouth this week. So let's rinse it out with what's been good. And I think the thing we all kind of want to talk about is Stranger Things Season 2.
No, I actually have something different. It is pretty great. Stranger Things Season 2 is pretty great, but I had something a little different.
We don't have to tell people to watch that, though. So
That's true. That's true. I will say Bob is a highlight, and Steve's my favorite character.
Yes.
You should watch it if for some reason you aren't.
Actually, may I bring something up now that I have the two of you and you both watched it? Can we talk about the 11th spin-off episode and whether we liked it or didn't like it?
Okay, let's try and do it without spoilers.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Here, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't watched Stranger Things Season 2 yet, and you want to keep it, keep spoiler free. Skip to the time code I'm about to say.
Skip to the hour, 3 minute, 50-second mark.
Okay, so going in really quick to spoilers. Go ahead.
Okay. I liked it. I thought for television it worked because it's a different episode. If this had been a film, it wouldn't have worked because it would have destroyed the pacing and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that it was there. I thought 11 really didn't have a lot to do this season.
No,
but,
she didn't.
Like for the story they were telling with her, I'm fine with it. I liked her finding her mama. I like this sister element. So it didn't really bother me.
Do you think we're gonna have like a Lilo and Stitch the series kind of spin-off, or we have to find the other?
I don't think so because I think overall the reaction to it has been negative. So I don't think Netflix will make it.
Yeah, I think if anything,
true,
she'll
but
become
I
a
just...
sub villain, like a second tier villain next season. Like she'll be a physical issue, like a physical problem, and then the main problem will be upside down monster thing. Like it'll be two ongoing plots that'll at least have, because we have a big enough cast where I feel like they can take on both. But I feel like the point of the episode, that episode itself served its purpose, because the point wasn't to introduce 8, it was to if you watched that episode and throughout the series, Hopper takes her to the safe house and he says, "This is home," and she goes, "Home." She goes to find her mother. Her aunt says, "You can stay here. This can be your home." She says, "Home." And then she finally finds 8 and joins their gang, the Stranger Gang. And she's like, "This can be your home now." Home. So everyone's telling her where home is, but she's never made, and she literally says home each time. So she's never made that decision.
Like E.T.
She's never made the decision of where she wants to be. Everyone's told her where home is.
Right.
And then at the very end, she leaves, she gets on the bus, and she says, "I'm going home." Because she's made that decision of where she wants to be. She's been offered 3 different worlds. This is the one that she's picked. So I think that's what it was about.
Gotcha.
Interesting analysis there. Okay.
So welcome back. Stranger Things spoilers are over, except 11 died.
They all
That's
died.
what I've been telling everyone. Yeah. Everyone's dead by episode 8. No,
but yeah, were there any other palate cleansers you guys had?
I really enjoyed Thor. Like the Thor movies have been my least favorite in all the Marvel films.
Oh, by far.
I'm going to see that tonight. So
I really enjoyed it. People are loving it because of the comedy, and
True.
the comedy's great and everything.
That's
but
fine.
it's such a better film than just as a comedy. There were 2 points where I wish they didn't make jokes.
I agree with that.
Otherwise, I think it's well balanced.
I thought it was not as well balanced as it could have been. I feel... I mean, I liked it a lot. Definitely top 5 Marvel movies by far, but I don't think I loved it like everyone else did. Like, for my money, I still prefer either Guardians movie.
Woohoo!
Probably.
And the first Guardians is great. I'm not that big a fan of this. We'll talk about this after the palate cleanser, because I think that's one of the questions we have this week.
What, ranking the MCU or talking about our favorite comic book movies?
Ranking the MCU.
5. Oh, MCU. Okay.
Or top 5 superhero movies.
Yeah, just our top 5 superhero
No one's asking
movies.
us actual questions, so we need to make up our own. So yeah, my palate cleanser is definitely Thor. How about you guys?
Tyler?
I'm gonna shoot straight. I don't really got anything. I have been watching things, but I wouldn't recommend them. Like, I found every episode of RoboCop, the series from 1994 on YouTube, and I've been watching it from curiosity's sake, but they're not good. I enjoy them, but they're really bad.
Good. I'm glad. I knew they weren't good, but I'm always glad to hear that when you enjoy something that no one else is.
Oh,
into.
I love RoboCop, and like I love things that kind of like I will give RoboCop the series and RoboCop 3 a pass because it kind of retains the tone of the first 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas something like the remake, I hate, even though it's probably technically a better movie because it just doesn't get the tone and the satire of RoboCop.
You're saying the RoboCop remake is better than RoboCop 3?
Technically,
right?
Yes, on a filmmaking level and probably on a script level, but I would watch RoboCop 3 first.
I just wanted to make sure it didn't sound like you thought RoboCop, the remake, was better than the original.
No, I could go on a long rant about why RoboCop 2014 is just the worst, but I won't.
All right, and Mace, how about you?
It's kind of a two-parter thing.
Go for it.
So back in the, I believe like the late 40s, 50s, and a bit of the 60s, 2 great artists collaborated on a project that never really
I know where this is going.
made it to final production.
Yeah, I know where this is headed.
Yeah. It's a short called Destino, and it was a collaboration between Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. It is one of the weirdest pieces of animation I've seen, but it's also one of the most beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's even the music, and it's just brilliant. I believe it was supposed to be in Fantasia 2000 originally, but they pulled the plug on that. The thing with it is, even though it never made it to fruition in the lifetimes of either of those artists or any of the artists who worked on it back then, it was revived back in the early 2000s, I believe, around 2002, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
No. If it was for Fantasia 2000, it would be late 90s, yeah. Anyway, they brought it to life and kind of pieced it together and put it together with modern animation, and it's pretty beautiful. I love it. It has it affected some of my projects in college, but yeah. So that's been around. You can check that out on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's on.
I didn't know if it was on YouTube. I knew they were releasing it in the book about it, and I didn't know.
Well,
if
yeah, and that was the second part. That was the second part I was going to mention, which is Disney and Dali Destino. Destino being the name of the short.
So does it have like a DVD
and that
copy
book was
of
just
the film
released.
and the book, or how?
No, actually, there are two editions going out. One is just the book, which is the whole history, and I actually just got that as a gift from my dad. I just got that last night, actually. And it's pretty great. I haven't gone really fully through it yet, but even just the artwork that's shown there is pretty great. Awesome. And you see a lot of the storyboards and notes and and letters between the two of them throughout time. And but there's also a second edition, first of its kind book where there is a screen on the inside of the first page where you press a button and it plays the film on that page.
What? How?
There's a little screen in it.
There's like a little screen.
It's not playing on a piece of paper, Tyler.
Yeah.
There's a screen in the book.
What an age. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So you
It's
press
got
it, watch
sound
it,
and
but then
everything?
it's the same book. Yeah.
Weird way to release a film, but yeah.
So it's
sure,
pretty
cool.
neat. It's pretty neat. But it's a really cool piece of art, I think, and a really cool, interesting little small nugget of film and art history. Because I love Dali, and I love, obviously, I love Disney. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see what those two created, and the work of all the artists over decades that worked to put it together. Yeah.
Cool. So now let us move to question time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully at some point in the future, you listeners will ask us some questions, which you can do by tweeting us on Twitter at artificialpod or by emailing us at artificialpod@gmail.com.
Printing your emails or tweets out and mailing them to us.
You can do that just as well. We won't give you an address, but good luck.
Good luck finding us.
So,
all right. So what are the questions?
Last week we wanted to talk about our favorite guilty pleasure movies.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh.
Yeah. You brought it up, Tyler.
Did I?
That or Mason.
It's
I know
been
I
a
did.
while.
It wasn't. No, it was Tyler. It was Tyler. I remember.
Sounds like
so. I know for me, my top 2 favorite guilty pleasure movies are Jim Carrey's Yes Man, which Toby showed me, my wife, and
that's a good movie.
Yeah, no, I
like
really like it. I think it's cute. It's nothing great. It's got it's got the New Zealand actor from What We Do in the Shadows
and Flight of the Conchords. He plays their agent.
Yeah. We're werewolves, not swearwolves. That guy, I really like him.
Oh my gosh! So I saw Thor today, and he was in one of the trailers. What was that?
He's in Jumanji. He's in
Jumanji. I see.
He is in Jumanji.
I'm excited now. Yeah. I love him.
That's the one thing about Thor I wanted to say. If you're a fan of Taika Waititi's earlier films, there are so many actor Easter eggs.
Yeah, like the policewoman from Hunt for the Wilder People. Pretty much plays the same role, but in space.
Yeah, really. And then Sam Neill's in a scene. And
I'm
so disappointed.
Sam Neill was in it?
Yeah.
Where?
I'll tell you after the recording. I don't want to spoil how he shows up.
Matt Damon was in it.
Yep.
Which was the weirdest but best cameo.
But I was really hoping that actor would show up, but he did not. And my other favorite guilty pleasure is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Meh.
I love it. So my wife and I just went through all the Indiana Jones movies a month or 2 ago, and it's not a good movie. There were elements in the movie that are terrible. Like everything with Shia LaBeouf and the monkeys is horrible.
You act like that's such a big part of the movie.
That's what people rag on it the most.
Most of the second act.
I love the opening in Area 51. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a lot of fun with it. When this movie was coming out, it was the first movie I ever followed the production of. I'd read everything I could about it. I'd watch all the behind the scenes videos. I watched Good Morning America for the trailer reveal. This was the first movie I was really into the pre-production of it, and I saw it and I enjoyed it, and I've still always been a fan of it. It's easily not the best Indiana Jones movie, but I don't think it's terrible, and I have a lot of fun when I get to watch it.
Okay. All right, Tyler, 1 or 2 guilty pleasures from you.
I like The Hangover too. It's the same movie, but I've watched it a few times, and I like those 3 actors together.
Mm-hmm.
It goes way too far and it gets dark, but I find it funny. I know it's not a good movie, and I know I like it because I saw part 3 and didn't like it because it tried to be too different, that there was just no jokes in the movie, and it gets really dark. So I don't care for that one. But on top of that, I will watch Spider-Man 3 and enjoy it because I love the Raimi movies.
That's a good one.
It's not a great movie, and it's got a lot of problems, and all the things you hate about it, I can definitely agree with, but overall, I think it's enjoyable. I like it.
It's a great guilty pleasure.
Oh, by far. And one more. Me and Mason love Mystery Men a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Mystery
like
Men
a lot,
all the way.
and I don't even think it's a bad movie, but from what I've heard, people think it is, so I guess that counts.
It's got a cult. It's getting a cult following, I think.
About time.
Oh,
what a perfect time for it to get a cult following too. With the...
Don't worry, it's slowly growing steam. It's probably not going to be long before they get their own pop vinyls.
I would be okay with that. Yes.
I would be very
Do
okay
that,
with that.
please.
I'm waiting for like animated sequel or something. I feel like
That'd be actually pretty cool.
I feel like it's going to some sort of continuation of it is going to happen.
I don't think so. That's very optimistic, but I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about you, Mace?
I wrote down a quick list here, but I know I talked about the Phantom of the Opera movie last episode. I know not a lot of people like that. It's a guilty pleasure for me. Two films that are always connected in my mind just because of the tone and the time they came out: Van Helsing and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Never seen either.
They're weird and they're very 2005-y. I think they both came out that year.
They're very
2004. Yeah, very post Matrix, very weird, broody. I don't know. But I always liked them. They're not great. They're great B flicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the concept of. I knew the movie didn't come up with it, but I know. But I've always loved the concept of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and those literary characters. I love Dorian Gray, all the characters really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great schlocky, fun films with a lot of design and a lot of work went into them. I watched the making of for both of them, and they're pretty great. Great in a terrible way.
Do you have any others?
I know as I'm getting older, I'm finding less and less people actually liked Hook.
I don't care for it.
Yeah.
I think
don't know what's wrong with you people.
Fair enough.
The generation right before us liked Hook.
Yes.
But I think we are kids our age, I don't know.
Wow.
26-year-olds like Hook because that's a nostalgic film for them.
Yes.
But us here around the 23, 22,
It's not very long.
Or cynics. It's hard. I can't help it.
I don't know. We never saw it in theaters, so it wasn't that big of a...
That's fair. But I wore out that VHS.
The only part that I thought I enjoyed as a kid was the alligator clock.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that it eats Hook at the end. That freaked me out as a kid. But in a way,
cool.
I thought it was so interesting. But yeah. That's the only thing I really
that moment
love
is
about
epic.
that movie.
I think.
My Jack.
My Jack.
Oh, yeah, can I name two more real quick off the top of my head?
Yeah, go for it.
I all right. We can do a whole episode on sequels that I think get too much of a bad rap because I love Predator 2 more than the other Predators. I love Alien 3. I love RoboCop 2. And I'm finding more and more that people don't like these movies. Mm. And if you tell me that they're not... Oh, Ghostbusters 2. That's another big one that we all love.
I like Ghostbusters 2.
I do. I saw it in the theater
pleasure.
the other month now, I guess. But they were showing a bunch of 80s movies, and that was one of them. And I had to go. And now I've seen all three of them in the theater. I guess you could say Ghostbusters 2016 is another one for me because people hate it, and I think it's okay.
I thought it was fine, but I wouldn't say I enjoy it. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but but it's not a guilty pleasure. I didn't enjoy it enough to say.
There are a lot of things I like about it to almost pass it off.
Melissa McCarthy falling down or arguing about wontons. Tyler is just crying with laughter.
No, all the things you don't like about it, I get, but I legitimately like Kate McKinnon a lot.
Oh yeah, no, she's great in it.
So what's our theme for?
Oh yeah,
the theme for the next episode is prequels.
Oh.
So, do you guys have your movies prepared to give each other?
Oh, I do.
Perfect.
Give me a minute. You guys announce. I'll think of something.
Okay, so Mason, for your prequel, it's actually also a sequel from a classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Oh. So, I hope you're excited, because you've been on this run, and we don't want to break it. So we're going to give you...
Please don't.
The Flintstones in Rock Vegas.
Oh, thank you, God. Oh, thank you, God.
I don't think you'll be thanking us next week.
You know what? I'm I'm vaguely familiar with that one, and I can work with that. I can work with that. Oh, it's over.
Okay, I have mine.
Please.
I found it.
Hold on. Mason, you'll get Scooby-Doo and the live-action lake monster sooner or later, just not next time.
Okay. I can.
We're gonna let Scooby-Doo and the Yogi Bear movie just kind of sit for a little bit before we get those two.
Yeah. All right. So, Mace, what movie are you giving Tyler?
Tyler, I am giving you a nice prequel film that's also part of a long saga of films, but it is a prequel. Okay. Casper, A Spirited Beginning.
No.
This is what happens.
Oh, he told me
See what happens, Larry. See what happens when you give a guy a Scooby-Doo film.
Oh, all right. Who am I giving to?
You're giving it to me.
Yeah, I am.
I knew that was coming.
Winnie, you get Tremors 4, The Legend Begins.
Oh. I was hoping for Alien vs. Predator. I was hoping you'd give that to me.
No. There's not enough to talk about with Alien vs. Predator, and I wouldn't wish Requiem on anyone.
I'm sure I could come up with something.
Nah. You'll get those soon enough.
Oh. I haven't even seen the original Tremors.
That's what makes it funny.
Maybe you should do some research.
I would recommend watching Tremors first, because I really like Tremors.
I've heard good things.
Does that mean I pick the theme after this?
Yeah.
Yep. You pick the next episode's theme.
Yeah, Winnie hijacked my theme so you could do a Scooby-Doo movie, and then I kind of hijacked his theme so you could do Rock Vegas. Right. So we'll be back to themes with no hidden agendas next time.
Well, actually, we might have to take a break from picking for the coming holiday season. But anyway,
why? What is coming to the theater?
No, I mean, no, I'm talking just about general holiday-related films.
Anyway,
that's in the future. That's in the future.
Right.
Prequels is now.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I have Tremors 4. Mason has Viva Rock Vegas.
Yep.
And then Tyler has Casper: A New Beginning.
A Spirited Beginning.
Spirited Beginning. I know enough about that movie to know Tyler will hate it.
Is it actually an origin story? Do we see him get murdered?
I see him become a ghost.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the terrible
but it's not,
guy?
Anyway, you'll see. You'll see.
Oh, man. All right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for once again listening to another episode of Artificial Entertainment. If you want, you can follow us on social media. I'm on Twitter at Josh_Lakaitis. Mason?
I'm around the interwebs as at Good Old Price.
And Tyler, how can they find you?
Look into your heart and you will find the answer.
And if you would like to follow the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at ArtificialPod. We're also on Facebook and anywhere where you get your podcasts.
Bye.
Have a good night and God bless.
Bye.
Goodbye now. Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Don't come back now, you hear?